So today we are going to start with the topic blood cells. Blood cells, also known as blood corpuscles, are one of the major parts of the blood in humans. In humans, the blood can be divided into two parts. The watery content of the blood is known as blood plasma, while as the cells that are present in the blood plasma, we call them as the blood cells. These blood cells can be of three types. We are having RBCs, also known as the red blood cells or erythrocytes. We are having WBCs, also known as the white blood cells or the leukocytes. And the third type we are having is the platelets, also known as thrombocytes. All these three types of blood cells, they are found or they are formed in the bone marrow. First, we'll be talking about the RBCs. RBCs, also known as erythrocytes, their lifespan is around 120 days. Talking about their shape is normally known as discoidal, also called as spherical biconcave. Spherical biconcave. Normally they are red in color and they are the ones that will be giving red color to the blood. Red color to the blood. Their number is too much. Among all the blood cells, RBCs are having the majority of the numbers. Their number varies from 5 to 6 million per millimeter cube. In 1 millimeter cube of blood, we can easily find 5 to 6 million RBCs. Now, this red color of blood is due to a pigment known as hemoglobin. Known as hemoglobin. Normally, when the RBCs are formed along with the nucleus and the cell organelles. They are formed along with the nucleus and cell organelles. That means every cell organelle and the nucleus is present when the RBC is born. But during the process of maturation, when the cells mature, they lose the nucleus. That's why we say that mature RBCs are enucleated cells and they also do not have cell organelles. They are the only human cells that always perform an aerobic respiration. they perform anaerobic respiration. Now, many of you will say that, sir, muscle cells also form the lactic acid, but that process is sometimes whenever we are doing the rigorous exercise, only then our muscles perform the lactic acid fermentation. Normally, they are good with the aerobic respiration, but this type of cell, the RBC, they always perform anaerobic respiration. Now, whenever the cells mature, the RBCs mature, during the first 2 days, many of these cells, they show traces of the DNA and the cell organelles. Those cells that are still showing the traces of the DNA and the cell organelles, we call them as the reticulocytes. Normally, they show these indications only for the first 2 days of the maturation. Now, one more thing about the RBCs is that the RBCs are responsible for deciding the blood group of the humans. Talking about the RBCs, the pigment present in them, that is the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. It is made up of a protein, globulin protein, and a group, we call it as the heme group. Heme group refers to the iron. That is why deficiency of iron leads to anemia. That is the non-functional or less functional structure of the WBCs. So hemoglobin consists of iron and the globulin protein. Each molecule of hemoglobin can carry 4 molecules of, one molecule of hemoglobin can carry 4 molecules of oxygen. This hemoglobin has affinity towards both carbon dioxide and oxygen. Whenever the hemoglobin gets attached to the carbon dioxide, it will form carb-aminohemoglobin. This carb-aminohemoglobin formation, this is a reversible process. That means this carb-aminohemoglobin is going to dissociate into the hemoglobin and the carbon dioxide. At the same time, whenever the hemoglobin combines with oxygen, it will form oxyhemoglobin. And this reaction is also reversible. But hemoglobin shows majority of the affinity with the carbon monoxide. Whenever carbon monoxide gets attached to the hemoglobin, this reaction is not reversible. It is irreversible and forms carboxyhemoglobin. That means if a person breathes in carbon monoxide for longer durations of time, all the hemoglobin will be captured and the person can die due to suffocation. This reaction is basically responsible for majority of the deaths that take place at the site of fire, where people do not get burnt but still die due to suffocation, because carbon monoxide is having more affinity towards the hemoglobin. Now, the major function of hemoglobin is to carry oxygen. Almost 97% of the oxygen present in the blood, 97% of total oxygen in the blood is carried by the RBCs. Carried by RBCs. And only 3% is present in the blood plasma. And RBCs also carry 25% of carbon dioxide, while as 75% is present in blood plasma. Blood plasma. Now, talking about the RBCs, there is one enzyme also that is present in the RBCs. We call it as the carbonic anhydrase. Carbonic anhydrase is sometimes referred to as the fastest enzyme. It can increase the rate of reaction to many folds. Some may say lakhs of times. It is helpful in the transport of carbon dioxide